Hey folks, welcome back to the channel and our update on TarkovTV, which just happened a couple hours ago. There's a huge amount of info in here, so I'm going to try to condense it as fast as I can. We got a new event, some major new patches coming soon, like before wipe. We got a rough date on wipe and a bunch of other info on what's coming with that patch and beyond. Now, if you have time, I highly suggest you check out their podcast and listen to it. I'll throw a link down below. Or you could watch it on my VOD if that goes away. But I'll try to include relevant clips where I can in this video so that you guys can see it as it's said, not my interpretation of it. But first things first, let's cover dates. Okay, so the first date, June 9th, BSG is going to be on the PC Gaming Show. This is going to be 4 p.m. Eastern. They're going to do some big reveal there. Not sure what it is. So we'll keep an eye on that, and I'll make sure to remind you guys next week or a little bit later as it gets closer so we know what's going on. And obviously, we'll cover it with a TID as well. After that, BSG will be going to TwitchCon Europe, as well as the North America one. The Europe one is June 29th and 30th, where the TwitchCon NA, which is in San Diego, Rotterdam is the Europe one. TwitchCon in San Diego will be September 21st and 22nd. Now, to add on to this, surprisingly enough to me, Nikita actually gave us kind of a date for wipe, more so than we've ever gotten in the past. That wipe is scheduled for early August right now. So that means another long wipe this year. We had one last year kind of like this, with probably a really short one going into Christmas again. Now, yes, this sucks. We got another probably more than 2 months before we get another wipe. Nikita said they're planning on stuffing a ton of events and fun stuff to do in here to keep it interesting. But I think this is a good thing because the wipes are planned around their development schedule, not 6 months or not days or not marketing. Those are just bonuses they have. It's around their development schedule. So if it's in August, that means that they don't feel like they're going to get a bunch of this stuff done till August. So instead of putting out completely broken systems or cutting stuff out, they're just going to wait till they get them done and then include them. And that's how I read this. And we'll get more information on that August later in the video, that August wipe and the patch and what's coming before that. Go through all of it, but that's just the date. So early August for wipe. Now, next up is promo codes. I do not know how long these are going to last. They could already be turned off and they might be active for a day. I don't know. You can activate them either on your launcher, which you open up your launcher, you go up here and you go to activate code, type it in, and it'll be there. Or if you don't want to do it from there, you can do it from the website. Go, escape from Tarkov.com, log into your profile, and then there's an activate promo code thing here. You click in, do it there. It'll do it on both of them. Will do the codes. Now, one of mine aired out. I didn't get one of them. Sucks for me. It was the Bitcoin one, but they'll show up here as a system message. Like I said, I only got 4 of them. Here's what I got out of all 4 of them. This is all of them just collected. I haven't collected them yet, but I will. The 4th one, the Bitcoin one, gave you these items here: Spear, M4, Trooper Armor, 2 Comtac 4s. Now, the codes are all caps, one word. It's Killa, Ground Zero, Abdolbos, which good luck spelling that right the first time, Thick, and then Bitcoin is the one that I didn't get. I turned it in. It says I already collected it, but I didn't get it. It just aired out. It is what it is. So those are your 5 codes. Get your free shit if you can. If not, I guess sucks, whatever. Now, along with this, we also got an event that kicked off right after the podcast was over with. It comes with a new task from Jaeger. Let me get over there real quick and I'll show you. It is Hustle. And it is kill all of the bosses on Shoreline, and all of them. So including the goons, Kolentai and Kaban, they're all there. Gives you a huge reward. It's going to give you every key for Shoreline, along with a sick case, 50,000 XP, and a bunch of Jaeger rep. Along with this, the bosses are spawning 100% at the resort. So all of the bosses are there every raid. They do not have their guards. You can see up here, Jaeger's talking about it, almost without their accomplices. Gluhar has 1 or 2 of his guards. Bossmach and Gus have been with Kaban. And then as far as the other guards, I'm not sure. So mostly bosses, a couple of guards. So it won't be just whole swarms and armies of guards running around. Like with Gluhar and Sani and Rishala were together, there'd be and Kaban, there'd be a ton of guards, right? So you don't have that. My guess is this is going to run for about a week or so. Again, this is a guess. I don't have any secret information. It's just based on previous stuff and what we know is coming. About a week, this event will run, and it's going to lead right into the linking of Arena and Tarkov, which we're going to get into a sec. But that's all this stuff is talking about GP coins with Arena and all that kind of stuff. So I believe this is the event leading up to that. So with that said, we got the roadmap. I will pull that up real quick, and I will put a link down below for this as well, so you can look at it yourself if you want to pull it up later. Now, a lot in June. There's a lot coming in June here, and we'll get through a lot of this. Obviously, the first one we said is the integration of EFT and Arena. This is going to bring a ton of content specifically for this. So I'm going to blow through this roadmap real quick, and then we'll go back and go into detail of each item. Early June, we've got the Arena patch. We're going to get Arena integration, player level and XP synchronization, player skills, mastering synchronization, new trader, Arena ref, special in-game quests. You've got the Arena patch, which is going to be new outfits from Ragman, a new unique item. ETS is going to get Unity 2022, which that's the test server. There's going to be a patch for expansions and bonuses for EOD and Unheard of Edition, PvE matchmaking improvements, expansions and bonuses for EOD, Unheard Edition, armor system adjustments. That's a really big one we'll get into. PvE AI improvements, balance changes, purchasable PvE mode for all editions, quality of life improvements, in-game poll system. And now we're going to get into July, which there'll be another Arena patch that's going to add a new map, a new game mode, some quality of life stuff. Then we get into August. This is patch 15. This is going to be the wipe, new content, quality of life, technical improvements, new weapons, yada yada. We'll get into all that stuff in specifics. So that's the roadmap. All right. So first up with integration, EFT and Arena. It's going to bring a ton of content. The first thing we're going to get is the new ref trader, and he's going to be both in Arena and regular Tarkov. This is going to involve a new trading system that involves GP coins, as well as a new Lega medals, which we'll talk about that in a second. But it's going to open up a bunch more stuff on that specific trader. So going through, we're going to get some more clothing. This is the bear stuff. It's pretty simple. Nikita talked about that. It wasn't anything crazy. Polos and simple shirts and stuff like that for bears. And then some other polos and rocker t-shirt for the use sec. And again, this is associated with Arena. So if you want to look like a Jehovah's Witness or a magazine salesman, I guess you can now in Tarkov. But hey, at least they're not charging $7 or $8 for these, right? Now into ref's inventory, they didn't show everything, but obviously here's a new melee weapon these are the Lega medals that are the Lega medals that we're going to be using. They're like GP coins. They're a hangover from Contract Wars, something that used to be around. But everything else, it's going to be GP coins. Nikita said that all of the GP coin barters that were in the game are going to go over to him. At least I think that's what he said. We'll have to see if that's how it holds up. But I mean, you can see this key is probably a quest key. You've got pile of meds, screwdrivers, all sorts of stuff that you might need for the hideout or things that could be hard to get. There's going to be a way to get them with GP coins. Now, does this mean that GP coins are going to be more available? I think so, because right now GP coins, I mean, even at their best days, they're about 30K. And then right now they jumped up in price because everybody bought up GP coins because of this, of course. But my guess is they're going to be a lot easier to get because 26 GP coins for a P90 just kind of seems weird price-wise. So I think they're going to be a little bit more available and cheaper. But who knows? Balancing could be weird with this. But then there's also going to be some other cases and higher-end stuff that's going to be for the Lega coins. This includes keys. So there's going to be these special keys that we're going to have. They're going to open up stuff only on Escape from Tarkov, but you can only get them in Arena. Like this one here, it says Voron's Hideout. It says a key that opens a room located somewhere near the health resort belongs to one of Arena Gladiator by the name of Voron. So I don't know where the key is going to be at yet. We'll find out once they add it, but it's going to probably be high-end rooms. I don't know if they're going to be like marked rooms or what, but decent rooms with access to them only through Arena. And like we kind of mentioned before, you're going to get some quests. They're going to come through Arena. For example, this one here is win 3 matches in a row on a ranked game in Arena. It unlocks the sword, gives you 21,000 XP, and then gives you 40 GP coins. And my guess, again, this is just in Arena, and you'll be able to transfer stuff back and forth between Arena and Tarkov. That's what we saw on the first screenshot. Going back, that's what this is here, right? You're going to transfer through ref from Arena to EFT is what he's doing here. And we'll talk about these cases in a sec too. 40,000 rubles to transfer all of this stuff. Now the cases, you're going to earn these in Arena. You're going to bring them over to Escape from Tarkov, and then you're going to unlock them in your hideout on the workbench. I don't know what level. I mean, this guy's got a level 3 workbench, but it could be level 1 or 2. Who knows? We'll have to wait and figure that out. But these are going to have like goodies inside of them. It's not like a weapon case you're going to use. It's a weapon case that's going to have stuff inside of it where you open it up and get guns and parts and stuff probably, or the scav junk box is going to have barter items. There's also going to be a new secure container coming through ref. Once you complete all of his tasks, you're going to get this container. It's the Theta container. It's 2 slots less than a Kappa, so it's kind of between a Gamma and a Kappa. But it's got some kind of weird restrictions on the slots. I don't know how I feel about this yet. We'll have to wait till see how we get it, if it's going to matter or not. The biggest downside is you can't use a serve kit in it, but about that, it's not going to be all that much different than a Gamma, except this is going to be available to everybody, at least everybody who has Arena. You can get this and then kind of upgrade a little bit with a few more slots. Now, along with this, Arena is getting a new game mode. I'll hit play, so this plays in behind me here. It's going to be a bomb planting kind of mode on an objective. So think search and destroy, I think something along those lines, along with some new maps, or a new map. I think it was only one they mentioned. But again, for Arena, called Skybridge, I think is what it was called. So that'll be coming along. Here's the screenshots for it. Cool looking map. I haven't been playing a ton of Arena, so we'll have to see if this kind of revitalizes a little bit. Yeah, it sounds like they're forcing people over there, but as long as there's interesting stuff to do, I think it'll be a good thing. Okay, so next up, we'll talk about updates to PvE for those that are interested in that, because I know there's a lot of you. Right now, the game is available to all EOD and Unheard editions. If you have either of those, you have access to PvE. There are still long wait lists to get into a server, matchmaking, if you will, and shortened raid times, but this is temporary, and they expect that stuff to be going away here this next month. And that's going to be as they add other stuff. To help with this, they are working on a system that if you're playing solo by yourself on the PvE and not co-op, you will load in on your own system, on your own computer. You won't need to connect to a server. That will help out a lot with this, and that load in should be nearly instantaneous. But if you want to co-op, if you want to play with other people, you're still going to need to play on servers. Nikita said that something like 70% of the players that are playing PvE are playing it solo. So it doesn't matter if there's one player or 5 players, it still takes up the same amount of resources for the raid, for the server, because the instance creates. So being able to get that cut down, I think will be a huge help. Now with this, he talked about how they're going to be working on the AI to get it better, so it's more immersive and interactive. Bots walking around like they're supposed to be, PMCs acting more like people than less like really dumb scavs, which is, they're really bad right now from what I've heard. I haven't played it, but just from what people have told me. And then with that, they're going to make PvE available for purchase to everyone else. Doesn't have EOD or Unheard of once they get everything stabilized and running. No word on a cost, but if I had to guess, I'm going to say somewhere between 30 and 50 bucks. Along with this, at some point in the future, it might be a little ways down, they're going to be adding the ability to reset your account on PvE, which doesn't exist right now. So a lot of people are going to say, oh, they said they're going to wipe PvE. No, they're not wiping PvE. They're going to give you the ability to reset your account, which is kind of like wiping. So that is coming. I know that's something a lot of people have been requesting. Now, a huge thing I actually missed during the podcast was Nikita said they're going to be adding full support for mods for PvE after release. This is a whole system, reviewing mods, adding them, a whole launcher system, like the whole 9 yards. So that's super cool to hear. And hopefully the SPT community will be happy to hear this and be able to get on board. And instead of this really combative relationship BSG has with the modders and vice versa can go away, and people can really get into SPT on an official level and enjoy it and have all that support and make everything hunky-dory. But we'll just have to wait and see how that works out. And here, I'll let Nikita say it so you can hear what he says about it.
Mods for PvE. As I said before, yes, we plan to have the whole system related for the mods. It will be after release 100%. We need to make the whole system, reviewing mods, adding mods, the launcher thing, and everything. So I can tell you 100% it's planned.
So there you go. That's it. Along with this, we're going to be getting Unity 2022 on ETS, like I said before. For players, this probably isn't going to matter too much, even after ETS and it comes to the regular game. Aside from some bugs, we're probably not going to see any difference. And I mean, it's going to create bugs. It's going to. Every time they've upgraded the engine, it's always caused bugs that we have to sort through. But what it's going to do is going to help BSG specifically with more dev tools to hopefully help them make the game run better eventually and stuff like that. So we'll just have to wait and see what comes of it. I know a lot of people are super excited for it. I don't know why. I don't know where everybody gets the idea that Unity upgrade is some kind of magic fix or poison or magic pill or whatever you want to call it to fix things, because it's not, but it's going to be part of the process. So it's good, but we'll see. Now, another huge one here is the armor system is going to get modified pretty significantly here in June. And their intent is to basically simplify the system. First off, they're going to be removing the varying types of colliders. So Russian armor, NATO armor, fronts, backs, side plates, all that's going to be uniform. So all the front plates are the same, all of the side plates are the same, all the back plates are the same. It simplifies it, it's less difficult to understand, and will result in less confusing things happening in raid for players not to understand. On top of that, they're going to increase the size of them quite a bit. So the front plates are going to stretch all the way up past the collarbone now. And then he said they're going to cover the armpits some. Not going to get into too much detail about this, because obviously when they make the change, we'll dive in and we'll do just as much testing as we have in the past so that we can explain to people what's happening. Hopefully not find any bugs, but if we do, we can push those to BSG to get them fixed pretty quickly. And just hopefully this system will be better and more easy to understand for everybody out there. With this, some other changes, they're going to be disabling the hearing range bonus of perception. So if you go look at perception, you go look at skills, it says increase your hearing. I'm at 36 and it increases it by 10.8%. So not only is this kind of stupid that somehow you get skills that let you hear further, I don't like this. Even as I max it, even if it does provide me as an advantage, I don't like it because it makes it, as the white progresses and this levels up, I have more and more difficulty positionally locating players than you already do with Tarkov's audio, because I can't tell how far away they are. They sound like they're way closer than they are. I'll run out to shoot somebody or something, or I'll think they're pushing me right next to the door and they're still 30 feet away, but because my perception's so high, they sound way closer. This going away, I think, is a huge bonus. I think it's gonna make the game better. We'll just have to see how it plays out. With that, they are also going to increase hideout skill leveling. I can get max hideout and crafting in a wipe. I have to grind it. This is the first wipe that I'm not going to do it unless they change it significantly, because it's just beating your face in the wall. It takes a lot of work, a lot of effort, and by the time you get done with it, it doesn't really matter anyways, because you don't even want to craft because you're tired of it. So hopefully they are going to change this to where average players can get this unlocked and not just streamers, because it's a cool set of skills that helps players out that are more casual end of things, and I think it's good for that. And then also we're going to get a reduction in recoil of bolt action rifles. This is a good thing because right now bolt actions they're not OP in any way, shape, or form. They're a complete disadvantage to use. Giving you the ability to maintain your target after you shot is a huge part of that. Recoil isn't something major with bolt actions as far as shooting, so as far as game mechanics are concerned, so being able to have that is a big deal, I think. Now, if this kind of sounds like a personal wish list, that's because it kind of was. When Nikita asked for suggestions a couple of days ago, I threw mine up there. Didn't get all of them, and that's fine. Ones we got, I think, are great. I would have liked to have seen a crafting queue and some of the other stuff, but getting hideout skills more attainable, moving the hearing distance, and the Great Leader's bolt action recoil are good stuff. And I guess the armor system needs a ton of rework, but that's not from my stuff. That's everybody's been talking about that. So all bonuses. Along with this, they're going to be adding polls in game for the player base. That way they just aren't asking people on Twitter. And my guess is this will probably be on the launcher, but we'll see. Maybe it's in game. This is huge. I hate when people do polls on Twitter. Twitter is such a tiny portion of a player base, and it's usually a very vocal, annoying, and trolly portion of the player base. I don't think Twitter is a good place to get opinions about what you should do in a community. The community is where you should get that from, which is why a launcher is a good place to do that, because you're going to reach more players and get a better idea of how the player base feels about something. So good stuff. Can't wait to see what it is. Now, they're also going to add a compensation for successful cheater reports. And I honestly think this is a terrible, stupid, dumb idea. This is just bad. I get it. People die to cheaters. You want to ease that pain a little bit. You want to make things better. But rewarding reports just means that people are going to report everybody they die to, because they're going to get that extra 100 or 200,000 rubles or whatever it is when eventually some player they run into is actually a cheater. And this will render the report system nearly useless. You might be one of these people, but we already all know people that just report everybody they die to anyways. And that's not helpful. It doesn't do anything, because the way a report system works is outliers stand out. So if everybody just reports everybody, there are no outliers, and it makes it less effective for finding cheaters. So giving people money or whatever the reward is going to be based on a successful report, I think is bad. Now, if they did something along the lines of, say, give players 100,000 rubles because they died to a cheater, like let's say they ban a cheater, right? And they're going to be able to look at the database and see in that database every player that cheater killed. Go through that and give every one of those players 100 or 200 or 250,000 rubles or whatever the average cost of a kit is, I guess. Do that. Give that to the players. Totally cool. Don't have a problem with it. But this whole idea of giving it based on a report, I think, is a really, really bad idea. But we'll see. Next up is going to be a customizable wish list. I'm not entirely sure what they mean there. If you go to the flea market, you got a wish list, you can put stuff on here. So what I'm hoping this means is that, you know, like when you get a quest item, I don't know if I have any in here right now that are highlighted, but you get a quest item and it's got a little yellow check underneath it where this white one is telling you that you need it for a quest. If we have a system like that that allows you to put a tag on items because, and you put it on there because, you know, let's say you need metal parts for your hideout, or you're looking for something specific for crafting, or whatever it might be, you want to have a tag on that item so you remember it on top of the found and raid for quests. I think that if that's what they're headed towards, I think that's a cool idea, but I'm not 100% sure. And then they're going to be adding a new task line called Nostalgia. So I don't know if it's going to be tied to Jaeger's task line, because there's already a task called Nostalgia, right? This one right here, that's the only task. It's one for Jaeger. I don't know if this is going to turn into a task line or if there's gonna be a whole separate one, but it's coming. It's going to be, I'm pretty sure it's only for EOD owners, and the purpose of it is it's going to let EOD owners unlock all the bonuses of the Unheard Edition. If you do that quest line, you get all the Unheard Edition bonuses. So we'll just have to see how that plays out and exactly what that means, because those bonuses are also shifting and changing and more are being added each month, and so it's just going to be a process. Now, right now, the current Flea restrictions that we have, or lack of, should I say, where you can sell anything non-found in raid or not, right? If you have non-found in raid parts, you can sell them on the Flea if you want, which is fine, great and dandy. This is staying through the wipe, according to Nikita. They're not going to change it, and I think this is another bad idea. Now, it's not because I think it's bad that players can sell other players' gear, whatever. I don't care about that. It's a problem because of what's called arbitrage. And if you know what that is, basically that's buying something and reselling it for more money. The fact that you can buy something off a trader, and I'll show you right here real quick. I'll come in here. I can come in here. I can buy 120 rounds of PP off the trader, and I can turn right around and sell it on the flea market for, I don't know, after flea market fee and everything else. How much of a profit is that? I don't remember. I don't care about doing the math right now. Point is, I can do that, and you can do that with all sorts of stuff. That is not good for the economy. It's not good for how the game rotates. And basically, it removes progression, because now you don't have to undo a lot of tasks to get stuff. All you have to do is just get to level 15, and then the game's just open. And I think that is bad for the game loop. On top of that, it allows you to do silly things like what I'm going to show you right now. If you look, F1 grenades are now sitting at like 30,000 rubles. Part of this is because the event's going on, but you can come in here and you can buy every grenade you can fit in your inventory and then relist them and sell them. I've done this in the past. This is not an old story. And you can heavily manipulate the market in so many different ways. I'm not going to get into the details here. This isn't an economy class, but we have done this already. In 2020, there are so many scary ways that just a few players with a little bit of money can absolutely blow the economy apart, because you're able to buy shit and resell it on the flea. Now, there's all sorts of fixes for this. Veritas has a very long, drawn-out explanation about a different system from Found and Raid. It could be something as simple as anything that you buy from the trader or the flea market has its own tag that says that now you can't put it on the flea market. Whatever it might be, as we sit right now, if they go into the next wipe with that, I think it's going to have a very detrimental effect for the game loop, but it's not too hard to fix it. So we'll just have to wait and see where it goes. I am going to do everything I can to push BSG to make some of the changes. Sit down, talk with some folks, get some better ideas, or maybe just tell them to go do Veritas, because Veritas has a really good idea. It's just complicated, and just not go with what we have right now as a status quo for early wipe. And if they keep where it's at, we're going to be at a repeat of the 2020 wipe and how stupid the economy. This is 2020. This happened already. This is not news. This is not a guess. This is not an experiment. We have done this already. And with how stupid the 2020 wipe economy was, I don't want to see that again, because the game wasn't fun. Everything got stale real quick. People quit playing the game really quick, and it just dried up. Now, planned but not soon, that was brought up. So this sounds like it's going to be coming maybe towards like October, like way down the pipe here. But the ability, you're going to be able to manage your stash. You're going to be able to do your stash, your hideout, all of that kind of stuff while you're loading into a raid. He says hopefully before release. So that gives you an idea. It's not planned in June. It's not planned in the August wipe. It's planned for before release, but they want to have that as a system in the game. Now, as we move into the August patch, that's everything for June. Everything we just talked about is coming in June, a little bit in July, but June patches, a couple of various patches, weeks spaced apart. Everything else now is coming in the August patch, which is going to be the wipe. So first out, we're going to get some new hideout zones. Now, I didn't dive into these super detail. I didn't look at them with a bunch of paid attention to them. The only thing I can notice is there's 2 doors here. This one looks like it's not even attached at the hinges or something, so I don't know what's going on there. No idea what this space is going to be, or if this is before it's upgraded. This looks like a new space beyond what we already have. Then the next one here is the cultist area, which Nikita said is coming for sure, but is going to have, he said details about what it means is more later. Interesting kind of creepy thing that you're going to have a cultist circle in your own hideout. Because those guys are weirdos, but we're going to get more spaces. On top of that, we're going to get armor mannequins. These are going to be places to store armor and stuff. And as you can see, there's kind of weapon racks behind them. A couple different versions we're seeing as they go through it. The downside that I see to this, and we'll see, we'll hold judgment until we do it, but it looks like it's going to work through the preset window, which is already clunky, and watching them use it here, it doesn't look like it's a whole lot better with how they equip stuff and they add it to the various mannequins, but it'll be there, so it'll be cool. So like if you get a super cool kit you want to put up, or you want to save boss, like I save boss gear, right? You can throw it all on the mannequin and it's there for, you know, a trophy kind of thing, showing you killed the boss and you've got their gear. After that, we got a bunch of guns showcased here. Let me get the right screenshot, or maybe they switched it already. There's I think this is a mini Uzi. Feel free to correct me if you're wrong, but some kind of, I think it's one of the newer Uzis or something, along with more traditional Uzis that are going to be added to the game. So more 9mm weapons with a lot of different variations and things. So that's kind of cool. Iconic gun. I don't think it's going to be overpowered or broken or anything. It's just kind of a cool gun to be added to the game. With this, they're also adding the M60, which we already knew about. They showed us some stuff. Here's some of the animations on Ground Zero. They don't shoot it, which pissed me off. We didn't get to see it shoot or hear it. See if they got the audio right. But it's going to be a belt-fed 7.62x51. So the NATO rounds are finally getting some love with the belt feds. Didn't expect an M60. Fingers still crossed that hopefully we get a 240 out of this. A saw would be nice. Now, along with the M60, we also got the SR3M, I believe is what it's called. That is this thing here. It kind of looks like a mini Val, shoots the same 9x39 round. I think it's going to be more of a submachine gun thing, Val, versus some of the other options. So, along with this, I'll jump ahead here real quick, make sure we get it. The Val got updated. I don't think this is a new Val. I could be wrong, but Nikita said it's an updated Val. So maybe they're just updating the model, making it look better. We'll just have to see. It looks good. We'll see how that plays out in game, if they change stats or if it's just a complete visual change. Now, there's probably going to be more guns. There always are. Like, for example, he mentioned the Desert Eagle a little bit later, so I guess we're getting that as well. But there's going to be more he didn't mention. They always do that. Now, the next big one that I'm super excited is we're going to get the first iteration of Bipods. It's still a huge work in progress, but it looks like you're going to be able to put in all sorts of guns. He's got an SR25 here. How impactful it's going to be is just going to require testing to see how it is. Like, how much does it help with recoil and holding shot on target and stuff like that? You know, how much is it going to help for sniping, for example? Or like here, he's got an RPK, but like think a belt fed or, you know, big other machine gun. How much does it help with controlling those? It still kind of looks wild on the video. And how do like attachments still impact the recoil, all that kind of stuff. And then right here's the other big one. You're going to get, you're going to have the shooting position, a mounted shooting position where you're going to be able to lean up against terrain and stuff. So that's a big change. That's going to really change a lot of how the game works, being able to mount to surfaces and get recoil reduction and more stability and things like that. Now, another big one, kind of surprise I heard, is they're going to completely rework the factory location, new layouts and graphics. He said factory's really dated. It's one of the older maps in the game. They're going to keep the old factory around for like events and maybe some other stuff that they haven't thought of yet. So they're not just going to get rid of it, I guess, which is kind of cool. But the new factory and layout is going to be coming in August for factory. So that'll be fun. It'll be cool to see what they decide to do, especially with all they've learned since factory was first created, because it was one of the first maps. Not one of, it was the first map. When Tarkov first got released, that was the only map that was out there. There's also going to be a marathon event coming. It's going to be a travel location to location in a certain pattern. It's going to be an event, and once the event is finished, that mechanic's going to stay in the game. They don't have any videos. They didn't have anything they could share with us, but this is going to be like a map-to-map travel. So my guess is you're going to be able to either exit the raid or go to another map. How that works, again, we don't know. Are you loading into a new raid with all your stuff? What would be the bonuses, or why would you even go through that work? But it's going to be something coming with the wipe. Interesting, leading towards release probably. Now, in addition to that, we got a clip of the Mortar Strikes being worked on, and this is going to be an event too. It kind of sounds like it's going to be like airdrops to me almost. When the event starts, there's going to be a high chance for mortars to happen in the raid. And then once the event is complete, they'll be more rare, but they'll still be there. And it sounds like either, I don't know if they're going to be random like an airdrop, you know, airdrops just kind of happen, or if you're going to trigger them, you're going to be able to call in mortar strikes with a flare or some system like that. I don't know. But that's kind of the way Nikita was leaning towards when he talked about it, because he mentioned being able to use them for different things in the raid. Now, another big scary one. This is going to draw a lot of battle lines in Tarkov, but tripwires and landmines are coming for players and AI. So AI is going to be able to place these as well. You're going to be able to booby trap containers and dead bodies. And with this, we're going to have the ability to disable mines added as well. No idea how this all works yet, but it's coming. Attached to this is the new boss. And I think he said partisan, I think is how he pronounced it. I tried to listen a couple of times. I didn't get 100%. But he's going to be a boss that basically booby traps all over the place. So if he's on the map, scary stuff, not just because he's booby trapping, but apparently also his main goal is going to be to hunt down bad players. Now, what makes a bad player? We don't know 100%. There's going to be a PMC karma added with this. We're not going to get any details. They're just going to secretly add it. They're not going to let us know. There's not going to be any explanations. So fun with that, I guess. But he did mention that like one thing that's going to get you bad karma is if you sit near an extraction, like in a bush, it's going to lower your karma. Yikes. So yeah, fuck you, Stankrat, you little bastard. You got yours coming now, finally.
You say to me?
But no other explanations on how it's going to go up or down as far as making it better or worse. And if you have really good karma, does the boss just ignore you, or killing him? How does that affect all that kind of stuff? We don't know. Now, some quality of life stuff coming in August with the patch 15. We're going to be getting the ability to manually enter variables and settings. So where this matters is, for example, on your controls, if you're trying to enter in your mouse sensitivity, you can't adjust it with variable numbers or anything like that. So they're going to be adding that kind of stuff along with the ability to select your grenades by holding G and using your mouse wheel, so you could select grenades the same way you can do that with meds now, and you've been able to do it with mags for a long time. He said he's also going to add the ability for tactical devices, which I'm trying to figure out where it's at here so I can show you. Where tactical devices, you can hold the button, keeps it on, and when you let go of the button, it turns off. So you can have quick on and off with flashlights and things like that. You know, you could potentially trigger your flashlight to turn on when you click your mouse button, or your laser, only when you're shooting does it show up, kind of thing. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. And then he got into how we're going to have armbands for both shoulders, kind of like how Arena, so you'll be able to put them on both. Ton of technical things related to animations, UI, synchronization, and other stuff that has to do with optimization. So that's good to hear. Audio changes, man, it's kind of complicated. I'm just going to let Nikita talk and say what he has to say. You can listen to that.
Pretty big list of audio changes also. Detailed work on environmental sounds on locations. Optimization of the sound system for performance, refinement of the occlusion calculation algorithm. Adjustments of balance for active headsets. I know that you're constantly asking about this balancing thing. It will be in the game. Adjusting the radius of audibility of movement sounds depending on speed, surface types, and player position. And balancing AI and PMC voice volumes.
Okay, so along with that, all of that audio changes, good to hear, I guess. Performance optimization passes, which is kind of one of the first times they've really brought this up as a major point to talk about. It's always kind of been secondary. And I believe that's just because they're getting into the kind of the final iteration of the game here. As you get a game ready for release, that's when you really start going into optimizations and things like that, because it's just kind of a waste of time to do it. Before that, you keep the game playable best you can. But Nikita talked a lot about different things they're going to do to get the game to run better performance all around for everybody. Streets, he called out his own animal, so obviously they're going to get their butt kicked with that, or they are getting their butt kicked with that quite a bit, trying to get it to run well. Who knows where they're going to end up? They might not be able to pull it off. They probably will. We'll just have to wait and see how effective it is, though. And then in addition, Arena customizable presets, as well as a huge rework for existing presets, will be coming with that August wipe patch. Now, moving on, Nikita talked about a huge event in October.
In October, there will be huge event.
So what is this huge event? I don't know. I thought IRL at first. I was thinking maybe something like Tarkon, but then he started talking about an October patch in the game. So I think that's what he just means is there's going to be some big event in the game, some big patch that goes with it. This is where we're going to get rewards with achievements. They're going to be permanent. So things like your kill a tracksuit, armbands, they're going to stay through wipes like the attachments. So that's good. I don't know. I think I would have to imagine if you earn Killa's tracksuit now and you get that achievement, that then when they make this change, it's just going to unlock it for you, because that's kind of how this stuff has worked. I could be wrong about that. You might have to redo it, but either way, it's going to be happening eventually, which is good. This is also when you're going to get the ability to go through your stash and your inventory while you're loading in. And on top of that, you're going to be able to view the inventories of other party members while loading in. So not sure where that came from, but something to do while you're loading in, I guess. And then a huge one, a really big one we got added that I never expected to see is we're going to get smooth zooming of optics. Whereas like a Voodoo is 1 to 6 and you either have 1x or 6x back and forth, you're going to be able to cycle through that or smooth zoom through that, which is really interesting, and how that's going to play out. Super excited. Gray Zone Warfare took a step in the right direction of doing that the right way, though it still needs some work. So we'll just have to see what we get. Big thing though, Nikita said we might see that sooner than October. I guess his book, it's listed as October, but he kind of was like, oh no, I think we're going to see that sooner. So hopefully sooner, because that's cool change, good change. And then there's going to be some new weapon that he's not going to tell us about. I have my suspicions though, and it has to do with AK guy and maybe a 50 caliber weapon, but we'll have to wait and see. And then I guess in PvE mode, you're going to have the ability to select your seasons as well as the difficulty for PvE in that session. So interesting selection option there for those players. Small thing, but something some folks might care about. They're going to add some more figurines. Looks like they're going to be adding bosses as the little Funko Pop things. I don't know what this is all about. I was told this is like an American culture thing. I've never heard of it. I don't give a shit about it, but BSG thinks it's important, so they're spending time to put it in the game. So whatever. If you care about it, here you go. More Funko Pops to collect. Now, Nikita went through a bunch of Twitter questions. He asked on Twitter, asked me questions for the thing, and he spent some time going through them. And there's a lot of doubled up in here, things that he'd already talked about. But right out the gate, he went at my question, which was kind of cool to see. Though the answer kind of didn't really answer it for me in my opinion, but I'll let him talk. You can see it for yourself.
Will you stick to making the game you want, or will you sacrifice parts of your vision to make a game others want? Of course, I will make the game I want, of course. But still in the game, there are a lot of things that needs to be improved in terms of usability, like quality of life and so on. Some of the features were done pretty harsh in terms of balance, so we still need to balance things, and of course, we're still going in our own direction for the game, and we are 100% sure. Вот это ты поиграл вообще.
But that's it. He had something else he was going to say, but he got cut off because America died, and because he's amazing at Tarkov and obviously has no idea how to play reserve. But some other things he covered while going over the questions as he was talking about the stuff. There's going to be continuous healing, so that's planned. So the idea is if you're super screwed up and you got to heal over and over and over again, or let's say you got 5 hit point missing from 5 different limbs, and you got to heal 5 times for little bits. The process of hitting heal, and if you have the right meds, it'll go through and it'll heal everything all at the same time. So good thing to add there for quality of life. And that was one of the questions that was asked. Monetization question came up, and where they're going to go with it. And he says they're not going to go beyond anything they have added right now, besides some more clothing maybe, and then obviously the PvE mode, which is coming. But aside from that, the only monetization is the stuff that's staying in the shop right now. He also mentioned a bit about scav gameplay changing, as in you won't be able to choose your location unless you have high rep with fence. So when you go to scav in, you're just going to get put at a random location until you get high rep, and in that case, you'll be able to choose. I think this is a good change. Some people are going to hate it. That's fine. I'm excited to see how it plays out and what effect it has on the game overall, which I think will be all positive. And then we have one more in here. Let me get to the timestamp where Nikita kind of smiled and said, here is the good question. We'll let Nikita in his words.
What? That's the good one. That's the good one. What are your plans to draw back the die-hard players that have stepped away due to new games in the genre and the past tribulations. I believe I just need to go on further with the development of the EFT, release it, and stay in the way that we actually wanted. So we just wanted to create the game that we love, and this is the way. We will not do anything regarding of like forcing players in or something. We're just doing our job, and we're making the EFT, and of course we're listening and learning, and yeah, that's it. It was like this for the whole years. It's like 7 years maybe, or even 8 years already.
So there you go. There's Nikita's response. Take it or leave it. That's what it is. At least he answered it. He also mentioned Scav Life DLC is going to be the very first DLC after release, along with the Clan DLC, which I don't know what that is necessarily. And yes, it's all included with EOD and Unheard Edition. There's no question there. That is part of it. He made to make sure that point very clearly when he said it. Open world is hard to do, but still planned. Now, if you're like me, that made your head spin, because we've always been told there is no open world. It wasn't going to happen. There's been lots of stuff. I have reached out to Apple, Daniel, to clarify this and what Nikita meant. But here, just listen to it for yourself, because I honestly don't know what to make of this. And I think we just need to hear more about it.
Why no open world? Right now, it's pretty hard to do, but it's still planned.
So there you go. Pretty hard to do, but still planned. I don't know. I don't know what to say about that. Hopefully we get some answers on it. It was one of those things. The only thing that tipped me over more than that is this next answer.
Kill replay in EFT is possible? The question. Actually, we have something in mind related to that. The kill cams for EFT. And I think something will be implemented for sure. I said that pretty like many times, but right now we got some conclusion how exactly we should do, and you will have an option to see the kill cam of that guy who killed you, and see or report him or flag him somehow. So yeah, it's planned. It's planned.
Okay, so yeah. This was something that was just a never move kind of object that was never going to change. And here we have Nikita completely kind of going another direction on it. So we'll have to see what that means. If that's something in the near future, I don't know. I honestly never expected to hear this, but we have it. Here it is. Maybe we're going to get kill cams in Tarkov. I'll leave it at that. I won't get into the arguments for or against. Just wanted you guys to hear that bit because it was super important. Now, I'm not going to... it's playing in the background here, but I'll put a link up. There's a new Chronicles of Ryzhy episode out there. Go watch it if you enjoy it. They're fun. There's a lot of good to watch. There's some stuff in here that's going to be lore of the game. So if you want to keep on that stuff, do it. It was a good watch. It's all dubbed. It's all in Russian. There is an American in there this time, English speaking. I'd say American. There's an English speaker in there, which is kind of funny to listen to. But it's there. It's good. Again, link down in the description. Now, without trying to spoil or give it away, I thought there was something funny here, because I guess they got the Walmart version of Dr. Disrespect, because I don't know how else to explain this guy right here. The real Doc is probably too expensive, so they went with this guy. Yeah. But that's it. That's the whole video. That's the whole summary. I'll keep you guys posted as we get more stuff. If we get anything about the event, if we get any more information, or the event moves forward, or there's stuff, we'll try to do guides if they're necessary. And we'll just keep you guys posted, because I think it's going to be a busy 2 months with Tarkov, even though it's the end of the wipe. There's a lot of stuff going on, especially in June. So we'll stay up with that. But that's it. Thank you guys for watching. Appreciate your time spending it here as always, especially if you made it this far through the video. You guys are the real ones. I wish you the best of luck in your raids, and we'll see you in Tarkov.